Exciting time on your show, youth.com. It's your boy Aziz.
And I'm Thelma. You and I know that on youth.com, we like to stir things up. We talk about issues that no one dares to talk about.
Please mention it. You know, sex amongst young people. Did I hear someone say,
I'm sure you did, Aziz, and that's because you got the topic wrong. Guys, it's actually sexual promiscuity amongst young people.
Now, did you have to make the whole world know that I got it wrong?
Oh, I'm so sorry.
You're supposed to be supporting me here.
I am.
Anyway, my bad, I apologize for that. But the question really is, are the young people promiscuous? And if they are, why is this? And on Chat Zone, Tosi Martins and our very own Thelma, with a host of others, they gave us insightful tips on the consequences of being sexually promiscuous.
Yeah, and Zing is buzzing with celebrity gist. You know how we do it.
Now you don't want to miss this.
Yes, guys, you don't want to miss it, so relax.
Grab that younger brother, younger sister, daughter, son, and enjoy.
Yes. Hello guys, you're welcome to Chat Zone on youth.com. My name is Thelma. The topic of sexuality is one that often makes people feel uncomfortable. But today on Chat Zone, we're going to be talking about sexual promiscuity amongst young people. And to do justice to this topic, I have on my right Mr. Oses, the General Manager, Speaker of Hadley Apartment. Thank you, sir, for being with us.
Thank you.
And I have Kayode.
Thank you. Yes.
You're welcome. And I have Tosi Martins, an artist and the Sten Judge of Niger Sings.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, pleasure.
And I have Harriet.
Hi, Thelma.
You're welcome
Hello.
to the show.
Thanks.
Okay, so I'm going to start my first question from you, sir, Mr. Oses. What is sexual promiscuity? How can you define someone to be sexually promiscuous?
Sexual promiscuity is a state of being promiscuous.
Okay.
Now, to be promiscuous is when you have multiple sexual partners. That is what it means to be sexually promiscuous.
Okay, when you have multiple sex partners.
Yes.
Okay. So, Mr. Tosi Martins, can you say that, do we have a high level of promiscuity amongst today's youth?
Definitely, I'll answer that in the affirmative. Clearly, yeah, it's just one of the consequences of high level of social activities and awareness
Okay.
in these times in which we live, and as a result also of unemployment and people having very little to engage their energies with. Young people, you know, their strength is energy and passion, and once those are not engaged positively, they'll find other outlets to express themselves, and that's the challenge of our day.
Okay. Harriet, apart from unemployment, what can you say are the other possible reasons for people to engage themselves in sexual immorality?
Well, unemployment actually plays a major role because they find themselves idle, doing nothing. But apart from unemployment, sometimes peer pressure, or the yearn to acquire what friends have and everything, the yearn to be part of the social standards and everything, be it fashion-wise or, you know, being in the latest event here and there, you know, helps in sexual promiscuity one way or another.
Okay. Kayode, does your environment also play a part, you know?
Yeah. Nowadays you realize that young people are being exposed to explicit materials. You find it on the streets.
From a tender age.
Yes, you find it on the streets. Anywhere you go to, it's everywhere. So what you see is what you want to practice. That's a problem we're actually having with sexual promiscuity with young people.
Okay, your environment, youthful
yeah.
exuberance.
Yes.
And for some people, it's just another means, it's a defense mechanisms, you know, towards their parents. They feel that I'm old enough, I should be able to make my decisions.
Yes.
And everything. Okay, Mr. Says, how would you compare the level of sexual promiscuity amongst young people today to the past? Is it more? Is it less?
It definitely is more. It's more.
Okay.
It's on the high. It's high now than we had in the past. Oh, it definitely is high.
I think that's a result of what we see on TV. Mostly what we see on TV, what we see around us, because everybody wants to be part of the Western world and we're doing it the wrong way. There are some of the things that these people wear and these music videos that they don't wear normally on the streets.
On the streets, yes. But we
because
think,
we
can wear it on the streets
so we
too.
just dress anyhow. That one attracts the opposite sex, or it attracts almost all the negative things.
But let's also not be blind to other realities. What the music videos portray is a reflection of the realities they see in society. The music videos are not the girls in Unilag. It's not the music videos that puts the girls on the street at night on Allen or in VI.
But I beg to differ.
So, and then the girls on the music videos came from somewhere.
Yes, but
exactly. So,
yes,
so what you see is a reflection of the challenge of society, and then Western exposure to Western culture, and you see, we forget different environments have different climatic conditions.
Yeah.
And the fact in summer,
but
that's exactly what I'm saying.
These artists to be role models.
To what?
To be role models.
Oh, definitely, yes.
In as much as you are trying to interpret the story of the society.
What you're trying to say is as much as you're trying to...
It shouldn't be so,
yes,
up on it.
Yes, as much as you're trying to be commercial, there should be decent lines that
Yes,
shouldn't cross.
exactly.
Yes, and I agree with that, and I'm sure in my practice I've done my best to keep that. But let's also be frank and realistic about the fact that these people will not provide what there's no market for, and what is not serviced already in the base nature of people. And then not also lose sight of the biological reality. Yes, at a certain age, your hormones are raging. You just want to do what you want to do.
Yes.
Exactly. So so while we try to deal with the social causes, we must face other realities that are stronger and are innate.
Really, in the past, the same orgies were there. People had the same orgies they have now.
How were they able to curb it?
Exactly.
Yes.
Now the moral standards have dropped. Now in the past it was high. You understand? Then a lady, you can't trust this way, you can't do this. You just can't do some things because there are a lot of restraints. So nothing continue.
Those days too, you didn't have the influence that you have.
Exactly.
So
we have
while
things,
we were going to secondary school, we didn't have the DSTV then.
very true. The internet,
but the orgies were
the
there.
BlackBerry,
The urges were there, but you didn't have anything to service it, to encourage it, to entice and to excite it. Right? You didn't have yourself exposed to things, explicit, obscene materials, content on TV and radio, and that.
Okay, so for the average youth out there listening to us today, how can this be checked? How can someone disengage him or herself from sexual immorality? Is it possible?
I think it starts with parents. If you ask me, it starts with parents.
I agree with you.
At the end of the day, it's the duty of the parents. Me, you, whoever. As a father or mother, and also society, we have to go back to our communal culture where every adult is responsible for every child they see. And you don't say, I'm not your biological father or mother. Well, we don't throw away our culture because, of modernization.
But the individuals have responsibility themselves.
There's a place for society to build and raise children.
Can I
standards.
Okay, we say it's from what we see in TV, our society around us, the web and all that. If you're saying we're trying to curb it, it starts from the parents. What about what we see? What about the artists? What about you guys?
That's what I'm saying.
How do you help us?
The place of the parents, for example, first is I have DSTV in my house. And let's be careful, DSTV is not the problem. It's the people who provide the services. DSTV is just a platform. High TV is just a platform. Whatever TV, they're all platforms. Now there are the regulatory bodies who have also given rules to make sure what goes on TV must meet certain standards for certain ages. Now these programs have age standards and regulations. And you cannot watch a certain material if you're younger than a certain age. So that's the place of the parent to make sure you control, number one. Number two, those you're leaving your children with as either surrogates, house helps and co, make sure they enforce those things when you're not around. At least that part you can play. Then leave the rest to God and to prayer. But at least play that part.
We need to do a lot more in education. Sexual education. We need to do more
in our secondary schools.
From the home.
From the
home. I totally agree with him that the parents, the older brothers and sisters have a lot to play in properly educating the younger ones on the vices. on sexual promiscuity, we need to educate them.
And then I also think, in addition to that, we cannot run away from the highest reality of it all, which is that you have to train people in the way of God.
Yes,
You see, we try to always leave that out because we want to sound politically correct. But in the end of the day, there's only so much you can do on the external. If somebody is not internally configured to handle the pressures, even those who are spiritually configured still find it difficult and make mistakes and fall and mess up. So how much more somebody who doesn't even have any foundation spiritually? In the end of the day, training children, whether it's Christianity, whatever it is. I mean, I would encourage Christianity, but whatever it is you believe in and you subscribe to, the values and the standards of that faith should be taught to your children. Otherwise, there's not much you can do.
Very tricky, but we've been talking about, parents. What of those that don't have parents and guardians? I mean, the youth that is on his own. Do you understand? How would you tell him, don't engage in sexual, how would he do it on his own?
The extension of
that's why I said the youths out there also have a responsibility, to themselves.
Hold on. The extension of the home front, the schools.
Yeah.
Now, if our
But
education,
they're everyday
back
kids
in
on the
the
streets.
days, yes, hold on. At least let's start with those in school. Our education back in the days involved teachings on civics, civility, and some values, culture, moral standards, how you even, before we even go to sexual issues, respect for elders, greet them and all. Those things are being gradually eroded from our education curriculum.
Yes, it is.
So we have to bring those things back. Teachers also have to see themselves as parents and not say your father and your mother will take care of you at home, at least at the primary school and secondary school level and nursery level. Then when you get to university and you're formed your own, the guidelines of the universities can then watch all these other things.
We hope so.
Yeah.
Okay, any last words, Mr. Oses? Do you have any last words?
Well, in order to curb this, should I call it a malice now? But I think we totally cannot eradicate it, but we can bring it under control.
Yes, we can.
And then in order to bring it under control, we still will also solicit the help of government agencies, we'll solicit the help of corporate bodies. I like what multi-choice, let me use maybe multi-choice DSTV is doing, because when you buy a decoder, they tell you there are some programs, parental control, that you can actually shut off those things with the code, so that your children don't get to watch these things. So if we have more controls, maybe from government and corporate bodies, it will help.
Thank you so much, sir. Kayode, any last words?
Yeah, so individually, I want to speak to them individually. When you weigh the consequence of what you're going to get, the effect of sexual promiscuity, you should know, you should not involve in it. There are so much things that you stand to lose. Pregnancy, your future, and so much. So weigh it and compare it to the 5 minutes of pleasure is not worth it.
Well, I consider this issue a very private and personal issue at the end of the day, because it's down to each individual to make the decision for themselves and for their own good. But just as a way of advice, since it's a reality we're faced with and we cannot run away from, no matter how much we pontificate about it, I think what's best is to encourage people that while you must, until you attain the strength to resist, while you must, be careful, play it safe. That's important. We can't say because we don't want people to mess around, then we shouldn't tell them why you mess around. At least keep yourself alive for the day you stop messing around. So please use protection. That's one. And then two, I also think that all of us must see it as a collective responsibility. It's not just parents, teachers, institutions, government have roles to play. Although I'm not for dress codes, really. I don't have anything against, but I watch that because, see, in the end of the day, you don't want to give your private morality and standards for people. Nobody has a code that everybody is bound to follow. But I understand the spirit of what they're doing. That's important. And like I said, at the bottom of everything, we must increase our faith consciousness, our God consciousness. Whether you like it or not, you can give all the rules, do whatever you like, until the person personally, internally decides to do what is right.
Thank you so much, Harriet.
You don't have to do what everybody says or want to have what everybody has. So it starts with you. Please. So at least it can reduce the amount of rape Yeah.
Yeah,
So
you
it just starts with you.
Okay, thank you all so much for being with us on the show.
Pleasure.
Thank you, our esteemed viewers. I'm sure you were greatly enlightened. You've heard it all. We are the leaders of tomorrow, and it starts by making wise decisions today. And you need to decide not to engage in sexual immorality because it would save you from a whole lot of things. Thank you for being with us. We have Zinc coming up next. Stay tuned.